So in this short video I want to show you that all the major talking points of Tartaria are all connected to the god Janus, and I want to ask, why is this been hidden? So guys, welcome back to the stream, to a new video of sorts. As you can see on the screen, a very long time ago I made a video titled Tartary, the remnants of Janice. It was over 2 hours long, and as you can see it's my most viewed video on the channel. And in that, and in this new, say, number 2 or a refresh, I just want to go over some of the big talking points in that, basically to ask, why is Janice getting ignored when there's so many connections to the major talking points of Tartaria or the mudflood? It's mind-blowing, the connections. Now I do realise it could be subjective on my part and my perspective may be tainted with all the years of research, but it's a valid question to ask why no other channels showing you these links, because I think it enhances the topic. It shows you there's more depth, and the connection of Janice to this realm just blows everything out of the water, and it just makes perfect sense. So let's start. I want to start first with the actual name of cult and culture, because obviously I reference cult in this title and people will be thinking, whoa, what's it going on here? Just take a look. So the etymology of culture, Latin cultura, there's a few other things: cultivation, the ploughing the field, processing, and looking after. Comes from that. Also you got cultus, which is cult, worship, education, and upbringing. So those are just a few things that you can say, whoa, yes, I can see a connection. If this time was a time of an enlightenment, they're building all these structures, and it's just mind-blowing. So a few quotes: it is necessary to cultivate one's own soul, at Cicero. And there's a large number of definitions, but the one they use on this image that someone's created: culture is the ability to ascend from the animal to high moral existence. So I want to look a bit more at the word culture. So as you can see, in culture, it looks like an eye. They're using these points of all the things that's associated with culture and its influence, the language. Now, one of the biggest things I've shown over the years is the language, that there was the greatest reset. Now, people talk about the flood and mud flood as being the reset, but a lot of these channels have not looked into what I think is the biggest reset ever: the great vowel shift, the great vow to L shift. And this happened in the 11th, 12th century. They changed the language, the sciences, everything. So there's a big starting point for this cult of Janice, the culture of Janice. Communication, rituals, roles, customs, relationships, values, thoughts, practices, all these things that are tied to culture just make me go, wow. So these are all the influences of a cult, culture, on our history, on enlightenment and things like this. So I want to start with the first, basically I'll do it in order of the intro. So the double-headed eagle is often used for this time of enlightenment as a symbol for Tartaria, Tartary, whatever you want to say, mudflood. Now, I've showed this for over the years, and I'm going to show you also at the end of this clip that when I'm looking, researching again for this video, someone's put a good point across, and I want to highlight that also. So here you go, guys. This is why the double-headed eagle is linked to Janice. So guys, here you go. This is from J.S. Store, you know, the book Place and different things of history and all that. So the double-headed god by C.N. Dedis or Dedis, the earliest evidence of the double-headed god in Sumer. Now, we've also the double-headed eagle. You can see it's linked to the Byzantiums, the Holy Roman Empire, and the Holy Roman Empire in this great vowel shift went from a single double-headed eagle to a double-headed eagle to show the worship being in the cult of Janice. So Evidence from cuneiform tablets. And again, I want to show you some clips and stuff. They don't all back what I'm saying because I like to be objective, but they show you little flavours. So, Janus, the double-headed god of the Romans, known to them also as Jupiter. So you see other names that Janus was called. And as such, as a descendant of the Greek Zeus, can be traced back by his double head to pre-classical times. He was known to the Hittites, who depicted him upon their seals. So guys, here is a double-headed eagle seal from the Hittites. We've all seen it throughout the years. It's been used in various guises and it's always intrigued me. So when I found this about being connected to Janice, it blew my mind because it was like, why is no one else mentioning this? So you can see the double-headed eagle carved into stone. I'll zoom out a bit. You can see it in its full glory and you're like, wow, it's beautiful carving. It's showing you the double-headed eagle that people are linking to Tartary. I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people are talking about it in that guise. Now, if you research Janice, you will know that one of his main jobs of sorts is being the god of doorways and portals. So, it would be a big wow if this seal, this mark, this double-headed eagle would appear on a door or gate. It would, wouldn't it? But it does. It appears on this famous image. It's called the Sphinx Gate, I believe. Now, if you saw my previous videos, you would have seen me showing that Janice, back in Egypt, is known as the Celestial Sphinx, the four heads. Even in classical times and earlier, about God being the four animals, you know, the ox or the bull, the lion, the man and the eagle are all tied to Janus. I've showed you that in previous videos. So it's a big wow, isn't it? So the eagle is on the gate. Why would it be on the gate? Because it's showing you the reference to Janice. And you can quite see it now. I found another image because all I kept finding was them Alamy ones with all the images ghosted over. But this is one's clean and you can quite see it. And I'll put a little arrow. There is the eagle on the doorway, on the gateway. Significant in the fact that, yes, Janice is the god of doorways and portals, amongst many other things. That to me is a huge wow. But the culture revealed by the seals is clearly derivative. Parts of it came from Babylonia, and amongst these imported elements were the double-headed god. He appears on the Sumerian seals, mythical accounts of the earliest gods of Sumer, and their history shows that the god Anshar or Anshur was the son of Lakuma and his wife Lakamau. He was said to have 4 ears and 4 eyes, which suggests a double head. In the first tablet of the 7 tablets of creation, it is that Anshar created Anu, and Anu begat Ea, Anu, and when there's more than one, plural, Anus, Anus. You can see where that depiction come of shit and defamatory talk of Janice being linked to the anus. These statements put Anshar among the ancestral gods and also associated him with the city of Ashur. Professor Ungnad has demonstrated that Ushmu, the Sukalu of Ea, was two-faced. Ushmu has also been identified with the Sumerian god Ara, or of the gods of Ashur. He took a prominent part in the ritual of festival of the New Year. Now, also, which this guy doesn't talk about, is that there is so many 2, 3, 4-headed gods from Sumeria, because Janus is prevalent throughout our history. You'll see him everywhere. And I'll put some images on the screen for you to show you this point. And you can just see, it is so prevalent. Now, so if people are using this double-headed eagle as a symbol of Tartaria and the golden era, there is some people saying that this double-headed eagle is a representation of Janice. So we're now to the Starfolk connection, As you well know, guys, people have been showing and theorising on what the star forks actually are. I've done a few videos on it. You must have been hidden under a rock to not see the content that came out over star forks over the last 3, 4, 5 years, and still today there's a lot of content on it because it's intriguing. But this connection with Janice, you can't look away from it. To me, it's slam dunk showing you he was the one behind Star Force. And I have to be a little bit diplomatic and say this is just my interpretation of what I've read, which we can say that for anything. Some will see and not see what I see and go, you know what, no, it's not, and that's cool. But like I'm trying to get at in this video, I want to give people another option to just, because we like to go to a topic and have as many answers to our questions as possible. And it's like, how did he come up with the star forks? And this is the star fork connection. And I'm going to read a bit out for you now, guys. So guys, here's this bit that got me intrigued all those years ago. So as you know, they say Janice doesn't have a Greek alternative, and you can see in a minute that's a contradictory because people have been writing about it for thousands of years. So, and you'll notice how Janus is a god, and then in the next realm he is the sun, and so on and so on. But it's still the tie to Janus, and this is my interpretation anyway. So Janus, the fabled son of Uranus, is believed to have been the most ancient king of Italy, who hospitably received Saturn. There's actually some texts saying Saturn is based on Janus. Anyway, when, as a fugitive from Crete, the father of Jupiter, banished by his son, arrived in a ship on the shores of Latium. What's intriguing is, if you interpret this another way, there is an island on Tiber, the Tiber River, right near, not far from the Vatican, and it's tied to Asclepius coming down the shores, and basically, the guy who is a healer. Well, he is the son of Apollo, and Apollo is also Greek, as you know, but he's tied, and Macrobius talks about him being actually Janus, and I'll show you the bit now. So in Macrobius' Saturnalia, Janus is identified with both Apollo and Diana. Specifically, Nigidius Figulus, a contemporary of Cicero, proposed that Janus was Apollo and Diana was Iana, with a D added for the euphony. This interpretation suggests that Janus represents the unified concept of Apollo and Diana, embodying the bright sky, the sun and the moon. So you can see the significance of Janus. He gets about. So that is on Tiber Island. Now Tiber, which I'll show you after this little bit, Tiber is actually Janus' son. And you have a ship in the Tiber Island. It's crazy, isn't it? It just gets you so excited. So let me just go back over. So the father of Jupiter, banished by his son, arrived in a ship on the shores of Latium. According to the account of Orchelius Victor, Janus was the mastermind of the age in which he lived. So basically the guy behind the inspiration behind the golden age. People talk about Tartaria as the golden age. Well, Janus is tied to that. Crazy, right? But my interpretation, I can see that. So it also goes on. He was the founder of a city called Janiculum. Janiculum is a hill, obviously, in Rome, where St. Peter was crucified upside down. Anyway, he taught his people the divisions of the year. Right? So that's big. And the use of shipping. Because Janus goes by another name, which I'm going to show you soon. And he is basically the first shipbuilder. Now let's carry on. So he taught people the use of shipping and the use of money, the banking system, etc. The rules of justice. How mad is that? And the mode of living happily under the authority of the laws. So he taught the law. First shipbuilder, maritime law that we talk about, all from Janus. He also instructed them how to build temples. So how to build these great stone huge temples. And to honour the gods with sacrificial worship. Now here's the intriguing bit and what I'm interpreting as star thoughts. He taught humans, or the people in Latium, how to surround the cities with walls. Is that not star thoughts? That just absolutely blew my mind back in the day finding that. So he taught humans the law, amongst many other things, how to build cities, how to build walls around those cities, justice, you name it, he taught humans it. So this is why I'm connecting Janice to the construction of star forts. He taught people how to do this. That to me is a wow. So guys, just from that little snippet, you saw what he taught humans. Is that not basically most things that encapsulate culture? The cult of culture. Architecture, the customs, law, values, the manners of interacting with each other, all that you just saw in that. And Janice taught humans that. That to me is again another slam dunk. The cult or culture of Janice. Right, this is the giant link, and this really excites me, and again is worthy of further investigation by you guys at home and asking other channels who look into Tartaria, why are you not looking at this Janice link? Because it's a mind blower. So as you can see, this beautiful architecture that people talk about being built by giants, but what do they also say? They say we're basically squatters. We founded, it's why it says founded on these buildings. We found them empty and moved in. So let's look at the word founding. Janus, a Roman god, is intrinsically linked to the concept of founding due to his role as the god of beginnings and transitions. His two-faced nature, looking both to the past and the future, perfectly embodies the idea of starting somewhere new while acknowledging the groundwork laid by what came before. He is also associated with doorways and gateways, symbolising transition and threshold, further connecting him to the act of founding. So this culture, this cult of Tartaria, if we've just founded and just moved in and squatted, who's the god of founding? Dr. Evil in the finger in the mouth type of thing here. Excellent. So you can see why it's intriguing. And when people also talk about, well, why is there I and J on these buildings, and they theorise what it is. Well, remember back, who is the god of the calends? Who is the calendar? Who holds the 365 in his hand? But Janus. And what is his name? Janus with a J, and in Latin, Ionos. So there is your I and the J and the founding that all appear on the buildings. Now here's an old video of mine just showing you where I found the evidence for Janice being a giant. So this is the Genoa Cathedral. Now if you want to watch more on Genoa, here's a video I did a while ago. Please check it, you'll enjoy it. It's called the Genoa Conundrum. Now what we're looking at is the cathedral. Now this is in the cathedral. This is what always makes me go wow. In the cathedral there is an inscription that says Janus Primus Rex Italiae de Progeny Gigantum qui ferdundavit Genoum Tempori Ebrae. Now obviously we all can obviously understand that, so it means Janus, the first king of Italy, the progeny of giants who founded Genoa in the days of Abraham. Also, the city's current name derives from the Latin word meaning knee, Genua, plural Genua, but according to other theories could derive from Janus because Genoa, like the god, has two faces. The knee. Remember the knee? We had that ritual a few years ago. Genoa tied to Janus, the god. What can I say? When people laugh and joke that everything ties back to Janus and the entity, I ain't joking. So, you've just saw me show you that old clip where Janus is being told to be a giant. And then we have this theory that there was, well, it's modern theory because, you know, it's something I truly believe in anyway, there was a race of giants. But when we're talking about did giants build these structures, were these doors because people were giants? Well, Janice is a giant. He is a god of doors, portals, and so much more. Why is this not talked about in the community? Why is this question left out? Would it not enhance when you're trying to, show people this evidence, to bring them into the fold type of thing? Hey, saw these giant doors. Well, yeah, the god was a giant, and he was a god of doors and portals. Wow, yes, I can see that now. So why is this left out? And this next bit was passed on by someone who watches the channel, so I want to thank you for that many years ago. So we're talking about giants. Let's look at the word giant. 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 Well, in the English language, not solely, but a lot of times, the letter T is used in the past tense. So obviously if there's no giants here, a letter T could be put on the end. Giants in the past tense. So, did you know a derivative of Janus, basically in English and other languages, is, especially Italian, is Gian. Gian, and I think it's John in Italian. Well, Gian, put the T on the end of Gian. What do you get? Oh yes, giant. And you can see references through the ages of the word John being linked to giants. You've only got to look at Robin Hood, Little John, because he was a giant. I think you have a grocers in the States, a few shops called Big John, wrestlers, Big John Stud, and things like this. So you can see the reference of even the name giant derives from Janice. Oh my God, wow. Why is this not used? All this intrigue and all these questions is what's got me excited over this topic for many years. So I'm going to finish with the Great Flood connection. Now, I only wanted to include a few because I wanted to give anyone who's new to the channel a chance to catch up on some of the Janus research, and I didn't want to go too overboard, and I believe I've done enough to just raise people's eyebrow and think, hey, it's worth a look at the channel, it's worth a look into this topic that I'm trying to bring to the table today. So what connects the Great Flood with Janice? Well, people talk about the Great Flood as being one of the biggest resets that basically covered the realm, possibly got rid of the giants, and so on. So it's important. So what person do you automatically know, or is in your head when I say the Great Flood? You automatically think of Noah, don't you? Well, there's where the connection is. But I'm going to start with this because obviously I talked about Genoa before. So Noah gave Ham 3 years to amend his ways. When he saw no change in his son, he took action and drove him away from Italy and took over the reins of government himself. Then for the remaining more than 8 decades of his life, Noah himself reigned in Italy. Can we know where Noah lived in Italy for these many decades? Borossus records that Noah founded a city when Ham was still living in Italy, determined to make it to his fixed abode and extended his possessions of the river. Ancient Italian tradition also says that the name of the city of Genoa is derived from the city of Noah, and Genoa is near the Arno River, thus supporting the tradition. Italian historical sources in the Middle Ages also describe Genoa as the great original city. Thus it seems that Genoa was the original city Noah founded and lived in for the remainder of his life. Now you might be asking, if you're new to your channel, what's that got to do with Janice? Well, I've already showed you Janice, and Genoa comes from Janice's name, the Tani. And here you go, guys. So here's other old articles and things that I've found over the years and people's passed to me. So it's highlighted, but I'll read it all so you can understand it. Basically, he made flattering observations about the Spanish sponsors. The Borgia coat of arms featured a heraldic bull. Originally it had been an ox, but the ambitious Rodrigo restored the beast's lost masculinity when he became a cardinal. Annius identified this feature as a sacred Apis bull of ancient Egypt, the reincarnation of Osiris, thus pushing the Borgia genealogy as far back in time as the founding of Viterbo. Now it's in Italy. Spain itself was clearly as old as a colony founded by the same Egyptian Hercules, nephew of Osiris, who had helped his uncle establish Viterbo. Osiris, Isis, Egyptian Hercules, Noah, Janice, and the relatives had been a race of giants. So there you go, guys. You've got Noah being tagged and tied with Janice, and them being a race of giants. As the Bible said, there was giants in those days. In Viterbo and Rome, Janus and his ideas captured people's imaginations so thoroughly that we can still see the effects today. The city seal of Viterbo still uses the 4 sacred letters, FAVL, by which he had identified in early separate settlements, Fanum, Arbanum, Vetulonia and Longlula. In Rome, the Borgia apartments, Pope Alexander living quarters, still glitter with the paintings Bernardo Pincinici executed between 1492 and 1494. Alexander's successor Julius II loved his predecessor, but he put equal faith in the tales of Janus and Noah, his favourite theologian. The Augustine friar Egdigdio Anatoni was another native of Viterbo, an enthusiastic follower of Annius. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling begins in great chronicle of human salvation with the creation of the universe, and ends with the 3 stories about Noah, the landing of the ark, who's the god of arches, the drunkenness of Noah and his sacrifice of thanksgiving, the precursors, according to Annius, of the church, the sacramental wine and mass. I'm not putting in this video about the connection of Janus with the Vatican. That's in other videos that I've made, but it's just showing you the connection. So, Noah, Italy and the Sea Peoples. In his original Della Lingua Fiorentina, originally published in 1549, Pier Francesco Giambolari makes an astonishing claim that language of Dante takes its origin from Hebrew, brought to Italy by the Noah, the inventor of wine, who was known as Janus. Here's an image, an engraving, an old one of Janus. What has he got in his hand? But his key, and what else? Oh yes, wine. So you can just see the link there. So everyone is telling you that Noah went by the name Janus. Whether it's a different Janice, this Janice, it doesn't matter. This is showing you the connection in 4 or 5 points, and a few others I've thrown in just for good measure, is showing you the importance of Janice and how it's interwoven with this reality, and why when you look at your favourite Tartaria or mudflood channels, why do they not put this stuff in with us? Because it's only going to enhance, because it's so deep rooted that Janice, Noah, I mean, you just got to look at the people who, the association that's in charge of the space and the sea. They're called Noah, Noaa. I've done breakdowns on that before. It's just crazy that good researchers who are doing these topics on Tartary and mudflood refuse or don't know that Janice is connected through this with the cult or the culture of Janice. You've seen the points today, and with this that I'm going to show you to finish, because if you remember at the beginning I did say I wanted to show you something about the double-headed eagle that I found on the internet, the interwebs, that someone's done. I don't know who originally done it, but well done to those for spotting this. It's a good eye, and it ties in with something I've done a long time ago. So as you can see, you can look at the double-headed eagle and have a look around the wing area and the neck, that circly area. What do you think that looks like? Well, this smart cookie who has posted this, I don't know who it is because I don't know how far it goes back, but well done to all involved. And here's another image. All this area that I'm talking about, does it not remind you of an owl? It does to me. And if you tie that in with another symbol for Tartaria or Tartary, it's the owl. It's on one of the flags. And in an old video, I basically broke down the word oculus, because that is another secret society tied with their eyes. And this is showing you the eyes, especially in stuff like this and the Freemasonry, which Janice is prevalent in. That the breakdown of oculus into 3 basically said the world belongs to us. Now, I'll put that little clip in now, just to show you it's an old clip. But how wow is that? So as you can see, I've split the oculus up so it gives you ol nobis. And to say, not only is my hair being blew off, my mind's being exploded, my beard is fell off because of what I'm going to show you now. And it just makes sense. So we'll start off with, what do you want to start off with? Oh, I'll tell you what, while I heard you, the OUL. So let's have a look what OUL, and I found different things on it. But like I said, I'm using this because it works for me. And like I said, I've not made it up, I have found it. OUL, noun, plural, owls, obsolete form of owl. What is Moloch? I know Moloch, the owl. They have the Bohemian Grove owl. You have the owl on the dollar bill. And their worship of it. There you go, guys. Tell me. When I found this, when I found the next bit, I was like, boom, my jaw dropped. And then when I seen both of these together, if my jaw could drop anymore, I just don't know how I find this. I just don't. So you can see the OUL. What's that? The OUL is an obsolete form of owl. Tell me you're just not like, oh my god. Right, here we go. The next bit. The nobis. The different things you can see. There'll be no one as happy as us. Us, the world belongs to us. So you have the owl, and it means the world belongs to us. To Moloch, to Baal, to Baphomet, to Janus, to the New World Order, if there is such one. Basically, it's the old world order. So they are saying even the word oculus split down means owl, basically, and the world belongs to us. So guys, there you have it. Here's a short video basically showing you just the importance of Janice and how it's connected to Tartaria mudflood, and some of the major talking points that I've seen over the years that people are talking about can be shown to be a direct connection to Janice. You saw it today. This is just a little snippet of what of some of the things I've done over the many years. And when you are looking into a topic, don't you like to have all the pieces, or as most of the pieces to the puzzle, to help you along on your journey? So why is this bit, when I'm talking about Janice, being negated and not talked about in the community, when it only enhances the theory and shows you a direct correlation to this reality? It's just mind-blowing. So thank you for taking the time to watch. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe. If you want to help the channel out, you can do so by hitting the barcode that's on the screen or the link in the description. All help is truly appreciated, and I'm just thankful for you giving me your time. So see you next time, guys. Take care, stay safe, always wear a smile, and don't let the past tools grind us down.